How's it going, everyone? It's Andy. I'm here with you on a Tuesday to give you some NHL bets, and in wake of all the events that transpired last night in the Bills game, I think it would be in poor taste to come here smiling, joking around, because with my luck, I would make one casual joke just to get you guys in somewhat of a better spirit, and then it's going to go viral like Skip Bayless's tweet, and I can't run that risk. But with that said, I'll try to give you some of the picks that I was able to come up with for this Tuesday night. The first pick that you should always know about is DraftKings Sportsbook. If you're a new user on the platform and bet $5 on anything, they're going to credit your account with $200 in free bet credits. It's a great promotion. Don't know how long it's going to be here. Take advantage of it while it lasts. You can get the specifics in the description of the video and then click the link that will take you directly there. So there are a bunch of games on this night, but as I was glancing at them, I got to be honest with you, none of these really stand out. There are games that I'm definitely anticipating watching, like Carolina versus the Rangers. Now, if that one was in Carolina, I would feel better taking Carolina. There is the playoff revenge narrative. If I had to go with a team on that one, I probably would take Carolina. However, the Achilles heel in that series was the power play and penalty kill situation for Carolina. And the power play for the Rangers obviously knows they can connect against this Carolina penalty kill. So I actually would look for those guys on the Rangers power play to register points. You can take your favorite between Panarin, Fox, and Zibanejad. And then in some of the other games, the Ottawa Senators, although I still consider them a team you can't trust for the most part, they've been stringing together some good wins. Probably the last being the most impressive, because when they play Buffalo, you assume it's going to be one of these high-scoring affairs. But they were able to lock it down a little bit in their own end. It ended up being an Ottawa win with the under, which is usually a good sign when teams who usually are pretty lackadaisical in their own end are winning games and doing it and keeping the other team under 2 or 3 goals, especially a team that's been scoring like Buffalo. That's pretty impressive. The line's not too great on this one, but I would be okay with taking the 60-minute line for Ottawa. And also because they had that good game at home against Buffalo and they did win defensively, I wouldn't put it past them to win a similar type of game, a 3-1, a 3-2. So they got the under at 6.5. We already know about Columbus and their scoring deficiencies. So maybe, just maybe, I'll be feeling a little bit of under. If you want to do a combo between Ottawa and the under in this one, I can sign off on that. But for the most part, this is a game with Ottawa winning 2 on the road. I mean, they beat Boston. Then they went on the road for 2, won both of those, and then came home. Or was it just one game? But they've either won 3 or 4 in a row, with each being slightly better than the previous one. And I wouldn't imagine that can continue at home against Columbus. So I'm going to take Ottawa and the under in that one. Next up, you got Dallas and the Kings. Now, typically, this would be one of those under type of games because Dallas is a team who seems to force unders out of everybody, and the Kings are a team, albeit that wasn't the case against the Avalanche. We've seen them engaged in many 3-2 games, many unders. It's not like they have a plethora of options on offense. However, there was a game in Dallas like 2 months ago. This was very early in the season where Dallas poured it on. We picked Dallas on that night because I remember the Kings had won the night before in Nashville or something. So they were traveling, second half of back-to-backs, and Dallas really poured it on them and embarrassed them. And I think when you get embarrassed like that, you store that in the back of your mind. So normally, if I hadn't watched that game that night, I'd be thinking, oh, this is probably under between 2 teams. But I think there's going to be a little payback from that night. I'm going to take the Kings to upset the Dallas Stars in this one. And then also there's a game between 2 Western Canadian teams. The line seems to be set at even. And Winnipeg beat Edmonton the other night in a strange under on New Year's Eve in a game that had the makings of an over. And I'll choose Winnipeg to keep that going. They seem to be playing some good hockey. And with them in Calgary, it only seems natural that you can feel comfortable taking an under. Calgary, they're having issues. Huberdeau, him and Sutter are having their little spats in the media there. Never liked that kind of controversy. So what are they going to be, more line juggling for Calgary? They can't seem to get their wits about them. Their play seems to be very erratic. They're one of these erratic teams, but the one thing that's been consistent is their inability to score on a consistent basis. So I'll take Winnipeg in that one. And then if you want to go with a little sniff on the night, I know I've been saying that the Sabres, that cliff dive is coming. They're staving it off, and they're doing it in a relatively impressive fashion. Yes, they lost a close one to Ottawa the other night. Before that, they were able to come back against Boston. I think they're going to go into Washington and win that one. Washington had a massive win against Chicago, but I never overvalue those. The previous game before that, as you all remember, they blew that lead against the Senators. So I would imagine that Buffalo can actually take this one. I'm going to take Buffalo in an upset, but feel free to leave that one off the table. And as far as those Islanders, they've had immense struggles on the power play, and they're trying some new units tonight, and they're taking Anders Lee and Brock Nelson off the top unit. So there can be a semi-calculated sniff to bet against those two, registering a point both at plus money. I know Brock Nelson is like plus 150 if you take him not to register a point. I'll do that for this one and Anders Lee. But you're playing with fire if you're betting on unders against the Canucks, who you can get anything. They're one of these teams you can get anything from on any given night. But I'm just trying to take that mini advantage of, for the first time, they're being moved off that top unit. And if you're not on the top unit, you're probably unlikely to register a power play point. And now it's down to 5-on-5. I mean, look, they can absolutely register a 5-on-5 point, but I'm taking that little advantage built in. Same thing goes with Noah Dobson, but less so about him. More with Lee and Nelson. And those are the bets that I got for you on this Tuesday. I will be back with you tomorrow to talk Wednesday bets. As always, subscribe to the Odd Shopper channel, and I will talk to you then.